Okay, so what did you think of the Kong vs. Godzilla trailer? To me, it was just, I couldn't handle it, man, because the song just, whenever there's just, I wrote in my notes here, douche hop, Fast and Furious 2003.
Oh yeah, Fast and Furious, good pull.
That's all it made me think of. I'm like, what is that? Why do you guys do this?
I mean,
why do you put just the shittiest, like, 2001 Fast and the Furious 18 soundtrack in this? You could have picked anything. Just don't put any music to it. Just a monkey ape slamming his fist into a lizard creature. That's it. Just do that.
Yeah, I kind of wish that there was. I'm kind of wondering if their marketing strategy might be slightly different now that like the theater dynamic has totally changed. But I was kind of hoping for a movie that's had this many years of build up now, that they would do that thing where they, you drop a teaser, but it's like usually like, they used to like get really inventive with the teasers. Like some of them wouldn't actually have any footage from the film, but it would be something to kind of gin up the movie in a way that's like, kind of novel and exciting. But in this case, it kind of felt like just due to the circumstances of everything. And I think HBO Max is like, no, show them fucking punching each other. And they were probably like, yeah, we want to get the Fast and the Furious crowd, like, throwing whatever, douche rock version. I feel like that's like the kind of like, I guess, this generation's equivalent of new metal. You know what I mean?
But it's a like, I had to Google, I had to find the song. I won't even say it. I won't even dignify the song with it. But I had to find it. I was like, what is this? Who is responsible for this? And it's some guy, and he's featured on the Alvin and the Chipmunks soundtrack.
Ooh.
Dude, I mean, I went down the rabbit hole of like, who is this? What is this? I mean, how did this happen?
He's probably just some dude with like, Fruity Loops on his, mom's PC or something. Like, you don't have to be good. That's the thing, is like, if you know how to,
dude had like over 100,000 followers on Instagram. Oh, I don't know, man. It really upsets me, but
well, so the visuals. What? Fuck the song. What did you think of the rest of the trailer, or just what do you feel about this movie? Because I'm like, the trailer, like, it looks cool. I feel like I've been like, you're trying to fool me for the fourth time now, because
sure, yeah.
King Kong was okay. I kind of liked that one.
Which one? The Peter Jackson one?
Oh, the Peter Jackson one, I think, is weird but interesting.
Which King Kong were you referring to?
I was talking about the one that's like supposed to tie into this universe, the most recent one, Skull Island.
Okay, Skull Island by the Jordan Vogt Roberts guy.
Yeah, so like Peter Jackson is like apparently like, I guess like they're like, forget Peter Jackson, like, all the ones that they've done in the last 5 years are they
retconned it.
Yeah, or it's just like another, this is like their attempt at a cinematic universe, so they're like not even gonna like mention it, I assume. And like, I think the thing they kept on like pitching, like the whole reason that they made King Kong bigger in his movie or whatever, and like they said the whole reason is like they needed to make King Kong way bigger so it would make sense, like him fighting Godzilla and everything like that. But my biggest problem with all these movies, once again to a lesser degree in the King Kong movie, but definitely in the Godzilla movies, is like, man, it's like you fill these movies with all these big, often really talented movie stars, and it's just like, I don't give a shit about them. Like, I just want the whole movie to be that the monkey fighting a giant lizard. Like I don't care. I would pay the same amount of money if the whole movie was like 45 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need the extra shit. But the thing is, I'm also not the actual fan base for Godzilla. Like, I've seen some of the Godzilla movies and I kind of like them, but I'm not, like, they should be appealing to the Godzilla fan base who like eat all that shit up. And from what I understand, they're kind of, like in the original ones, like, except for the original, like the first Godzilla, like the human characters are almost like afterthought.
Oh yeah, they're horrible.
Yeah,
like I've seen quite a few Godzilla movies, and yeah.
Did you see horrible. The one I really did want to see? Was the recent Japanese one, the Shin Godzilla? Like, I've heard, like,
I've still not seen it. Yeah, but it's hated. Oh,
is
yeah.
It? Well, I heard it's an interesting take because it's like more of like a, it's less about Godzilla and more like, Japanese government bureaucracy. It's supposed to be basically be about like Fukushima and like all that sort of stuff. So, but I have not seen it at all.
All I know is that it's widely hated and that some people like the design of Godzilla in that movie. Some people absolutely hate it. But that it's, you know, it's some sort of controversial, you'll either love it or you hate it.
I think I saw a still, and it definitely looked a way different take on Godzilla, but I don't know how you, like... It's definitely harder and harder to translate that character that is so innately a guy in a rubber suit into... You know, that was like... I think they've gotten better with it, or maybe that it's been good, and I just needed time to adjust to it, but I definitely felt like with the first Bryan Cranston Godzilla, like, they did an amazing job with the effects, and it looked beautiful, but it's just like Godzilla looks like a plumber. Like, you know, like when he's coming out of the water, he looks like he's just like, it's another day on the job, crushing buildings. Like, he looks like he's like just like a fat guy who's kind of dejectedly like lumbering around slowly and everything like that. But that's part of the charm. So like the fact that they can kind of capture that is kind of fun. And I wish the thing I liked about the King Kong one is it took itself a little less seriously. Like, you know, like, it was kind of tongue-in-cheek, and I wouldn't ask for all of them to be like that, but I feel like the Godzilla movies, the first one was way too serious,
and that was the one with... Cranston, but who was the director from Monsters and the Star Wars and Rogue One director guy?
I'm totally blanking on his name.
You know what I'm talking about.
But and I feel like aside from Monsters, I haven't really been super into most of those movies.
I don't think he's gotten to do a whole lot.
Yeah, and even the ones that he got to do, I don't think the Star Wars one worked out that well, because like you know, that was one who famously was locked out of the directors of the editing room.
Right. We talked about Tony Gilroy basically got or just came in and took over for him or something.
Tony Gilroy, and like I feel like Tony Gilroy is like the guy you call when shit's like hitting the fan to like save your movies. That probably it obviously could have turned out worse, because it sounds like, you know, the Star Wars movies are wrought with production hell. But
Well, this movie has been around since 2015, and it's being directed by Adam Wingard, who also did You're Next, which was good, The Guest, which I never saw, and then he did the horrible Netflix Death Note.
Yeah, and Adam Wingard is one of those guys, because of You're Next, which I think is a great movie, and The Guest is actually a pretty good movie, too.
Did you watch Outcast? He did the... did you ever read those comics? He did Outcast.
No.
I think it had like one season on HBO or Showtime.
No, I don't think I even heard of that.
Oh, okay. It's a semi-decent comic series.
Okay.
Give it a check out. But who do you think really directed this one? Because Adam Wingard, you know, after seeing Death Note, I got to imagine...
well, I just can't picture him...
Someone came in.
The one thing with Adam Wingard is, like, I got so excited for his career...
And he did, like, Blair Witch, too, or something, right?
Like, his last 5 movies have not really impressed me that much. But Adam Wingard, like, he's, like, one of those dudes that's always attached to interesting projects. Like, he's always in that circle of filmmakers that were doing interesting things. Like, the guys that were doing those, like, VHS short films for... those horror movies, horror anthologies and stuff like that. Like
he did one. Is he the one who did the date rape one?
He did The Eye, and then he did the wraparound story for the first. He did the wraparound story for the first VHS, which I think sucked and was one of the weakest parts of it. And then he did the story about the guy that got the somebody else's eye, and the entire thing is from the perspective of the eye. In the second VHS, which was okay, but like still, like he's usually the weakest or one of the weaker people, but he always seems like he's in that same conversation with filmmakers, kind of, not to the same degree, but like, you know how Mick Garris was always mentioned in the same conversation with like Sam Raimi and everything like that, and Mick Garris just fucking sucks. Like I feel like he's one of those guys that is like, you know, he's in the same crew and he's like friends with people and like everything like that, but like, he might not, at least as far as I've seen, I don't mean to rag on the guy, he's still pretty talented, but I started becoming less optimistic, and when they announced he was directing, I was like, okay. Like, I have not been like super jazzed about this whole series in general, because it's just like, I think after the first Godzilla, and once again to a lesser degree the King Kong movie, like, you know, I stopped getting super jazzed about it because like all the interesting stuff just comes down to, do the effects look cool? Because everything else is like kind of secondary, and I think how well that works depends on the movie itself, you know, and also just how much shit that is not Godzilla is there in the movie, because that is always the thing that's the
like I don't care about the shadowy government organization trying to figure out what's up with God. I don't care. I don't care. And that was the Michael Dougherty one.
The second one, I watched parts of that on a plane. I still have not been able to make it. It looked, you know, it's weird because it felt like they tried to go a little cheesier with it than the first one, but it just really felt like a bunch of people like talking in front of green screens. Like the human characters were so not in the same space with the monsters. I guess that's the thing that pisses me off about it, and that's kind of one of my problems sometimes to a degree with, you know, you always have to make the giant monster bigger and bigger because, like, you know, we've seen giant monsters before and everything like that, but like you hit a certain point where like if you have human characters, they're so small, like what sort of impact can they have on this hulking god beast? You know what I mean? Like it just starts to become it kind of becomes like, you know, like what can you do? It probably just kind of falls into the same formulas over and over again, which is why I'm like I'm somewhat excited for this Godzilla versus King Kong movie, but I'm just like, unless they really do something different, I have a hard time seeing it's not being that again. And but hopefully, like, you know, maybe, who knows, like maybe, like, you know, if I give Adam Wingard the benefit of the doubt, if it just goes like, tries to go like hit the ground running and try not to like get too bogged down with all this like fucking just MacGuffins and all this other shit, like it'd be nice to just get right to the giant monsters fighting each other, then I might be a little bit more on board, but I just have a hard time picturing that. Like, I'm looking at the trailer, I can already tell, like, the little girl's going to play a part, something's controlling Godzilla, there's more of this shadowy organization and everything like that. And they have so many talented actors working in these movies. Like, it's crazy how many, like, Oscar winners and shit like that do these movies for, like, just, like, I guess it's a good payday, and you pretty much, once again, just sit on a sound stage and, like, you know, prattle off bullshit dialogue about, you know... Who's the actress in this one? She goes, "It's Godzilla." Yeah. How many takes do you think it took her to like, nail one where she's not just, like... laughing?
I mean, how many takes?
I'm not...
But anyway, I can't keep them straight. Like, I can't, like, to me, they were kind of close together. They were within about a year and a half, right? Skull Island. And the King of the Monsters. Yeah. Right? Were they, like, you know, pretty... I remember them in my mind. They took place between...
Yeah, like, I think they've been trying to space them out, like 2 years apart, basically.
2016 to 2018? Is that what they came out?
Something like that. I think Kong was 2016. I think I remember Kong being 2016.
I remember movies based on where I lived, and I lived in Colorado when that came out. This says 2017 for Kong Skull Island. Okay. And then this says King of the Monsters.
That was
2019.
Like this year, yeah. Jesus. Yeah, or last year. No, 2 years. Oh god, quarantine. 2 years ago.
All right. Well, I got a fun game for you because I'm looking at Wikipedia pages. I can't keep these two things straight, so I'm wondering if you can, my friend. I'm going to name a name, and you're going to tell me which film they were in. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Kyle Chandler.
The second Godzilla.
All right. Brie Larson's breast implants.
Oh, yeah, she was in King Kong. I forgot about that.
All right.
God,
you're 2 for 2.
Okay.
Vera Farmiga.
She's in the second one, right?
Okay. Well, just say Godzilla or Kong. That's really the only...
the second Godzilla. Yeah, Godzilla.
Okay, that's the only two we're playing.
Okay.
All right. John Goodman.
Kong.
Tom Hiddleston.
Kong. This is actually
Sally Hawkins.
Sally Hawkins. Oh, give me a sec. Godzilla. Right?
Did I say Samuel L. Jackson?
No. Yeah. Kong. Yeah, the Kong cast is stacked.
Zhang Ziyi.
I think she was in the second Godzilla, right? She's the chick from Crouching Tiger, right?
Stranger Things girl, you know her. She's got to be in the Godzilla.
Yeah, she was
Trying
all
to think
over
who
the
else
trailer.
are we looking? Did I say John C. Reilly?
No. Oh yeah, he's in Kong too. I want to watch that Kong movie again just because. Once again, like, because see that's the other problem is I think the Kong movie, that was interesting because I think that director has a really interesting visual style. He's good with editing. He's kind of got an innate humoristic bent and everything like that, and he's great with actors. And so, like, the fact that he got this really talented cast and, like, it seemed like an interesting hook, but the thing is, that movie, like, it had such a stacked cast, and having all of that plus world building plus, you know, giant ape scenes and everything like that, I felt like the cast was like kind of like struggling for air with the giant ape and everything like that. So it's really hard to find a balancing act of having stars that will bring people to see your movie and you know, kind of giving them like meaningful interactions with the whatever giant monsters on screen and everything like that. Like all that humans are for is to just explain what's going on, right? Like that's literally what
I feel like I don't need you to explain,
I know,
my man.
but
I guess I need to be explained why you're putting my man on a ship and chaining him down. I would love to see you explain how you manage that without some like knockout gas bullshit or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to know about that.
I'm sure it's something. Yeah, like you can't do anything except gas or like trank. I don't think you couldn't trank anything that big. Like the trank dart would be like the sizes of like a house or something like that.
Well, did you? I was getting some Evangelion vibes, you know, where there's an episode where they're kind of fighting on the tops of aircraft carriers and stuff. I wonder if they kind of like borrowed from that, perhaps. But did you like the whole a small child is basically some sort of
friend to Kong
has some sort of spiritual connection?
There's
to the Kong?
Always some sort of fucking like that. That's what 11 from Stranger Things was basically supposed to be doing with Godzilla. I guess they were like, if the Stranger Things chick is Godzilla's like human avatar or something like that, we need to give King Kong one, because it sounds like, at least from the trailer, you know, like Kong is kind of the hero, and I guess Godzilla is kind of the heel or something like that. Or
well, it seems like Godzilla has been the savior of humanity for the last 3 years, right? And then now he's destroying shit, and now we've gone to go get Kong to see if we can get Kong to replace Godzilla.
So it's got to be some sort of mind control shit, right? It's got to be some sort of like you know, there's always the fucking like, we have a homing beacon that like they're attracted to, or some sort of you know, it's so. I almost wish they had a scene where it's like the scientist is explaining the backstory, and then they just like sigh, and they're like, "You don't care," you know, like when Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's why I like Pacific Rim, where I feel like Pacific Rim didn't spend a whole lot of time trying to explain what was happening. They just kind of showed you.
They did one info dump in the first 10 minutes, and then everything else is like, okay, now this is the world we're in, and I think. You know, it was a lot to take in the first 10 minutes of that movie, but it gets you up to speed, because, just everything else, it's just like, you don't want to do all that legwork in a big, dumb monster movie kind of thing. And I say that with, like, respect and everything like that, but, like, you're still, let's face it, we just want to see giant apes and lizards, like, knock some buildings down and destroy some stuff.
No, I move on from the Monarch. I was like, I'd flushed that from my brain. I forgot what Monarch was, you know, but they went so hard. I remember I was at Comic-Con 2018 or 2019. I don't know. I think I went the last 2 years, but they like, before the unpleasantness.
Right.
But like there were like, they had people out running around doing the promotions shit, dressed like as Men in Black, handing out like cards.
See, that's the thing is,
so they went so hard on the Monarch.
Everyone's still looking for that Marvel thing. They need their Shield equivalent, and it's the same thing, because it's like, what do you do? It's either we have some sort of bullshit government organization, or we have a guy in a giant fucking monkey suit handing out flyers. Like, you know, that's the whole, like, it's kind of, I guess, is it taking itself too seriously? Like, you know, and to what degree does it have to kind of like invent a plot? Like that's the thing is like I don't know what else you do otherwise. Like how dumb you get with it. And the thing is like you also want to make a bunch of money too. So like you want to get the Fast and the Furious crowd and all those sorts of things. Like you want like a nice 4-quadrant movie. So I feel like it's got to be like a little bit winky and it's allowed to be a little bit winky, but it seems like when they're trying to do really mainstream films, like you still have to take yourself fairly seriously. Like